We talk about bows and arrows. Hello, welcome everybody. Nice to see you again, Cody. Thank you for having you on our show. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Armin. Hi, Cody. Nice to have you again.
Thank you for having me.
That you were able to find time
in
your tight schedule.
Yes, and especially with the time delays or with the time units, it was a little tricky because in where you live, it's just 2 o'clock, right? And we're at 7. So,
yeah.
8 o'clock.
Yep, just after 2 o'clock. So,
so you had lunch?
Yeah,
you had lunch?
Yeah. I was able to grab something to eat. So
okay, good. So you have a coffee now or something, and everything's fine.
yeah.
What do you had? What do you had for lunch?
I just had some steak and eggs.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah. So it's leftover steak.
A manly meal.
Yeah. I was gonna drink some bourbon with it, but I didn't have any. So
Then we don't understand you, or at least I don't understand you anymore when you start talking bourbon.
Bourbonish. Bourbonish.
Yeah.
The urban bourbon. Yeah.
So,
exactly. How is life? Everything fine, Cody?
Yeah, life is good. It's just archery's booming over here. It's absolutely crazy.
Very good.
We're just started last Friday for deer season, for archery season, and that's going off pretty good. Last Friday here, it was opening day. It was around 81 degrees. So I don't know what that would be in Celsius.
Quite warm.
Relatively warm.
Yeah. And then it was nothing but rain, pure rain for the last couple of days.
Okay. So
yeah, hunting's been. I heard of a couple people shooting a couple of nice bucks, but I haven't really heard of much going on. So especially with the weather. So but yeah, archery business has been busy. So it's just nonstop.
So you're selling a lot of bits and burgers?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's crazy.
What makes bits and burgers so special, so unique, or so? Why are they so good compared to all the others?
Well, it's kind of an interesting question. First off, they're made out of cast zinc instead of plastics. And
which makes sense.
Yeah. So and they've been made since 1940.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm
80 years.
Yeah.
Was there ever an upgrade, or is it since 80 years the same shape?
Well, there's been 5 model changes.
Okay.
And this
but
one
not big ones.
No.
Little
more refinements.
Yeah. So this last model change, I believe, was the last one was done in 1965. But people love them. I mean, compared to, and I'm not knocking the plastic made ones but they're all made. Each one is made by hand. Like when we get the raw parts from California, they're all made by hand on, with hand tools and so
nice.
I think, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, Cody, I think the selling point is that it's available since the 1940s. So it's the one known fletching jig around. So even the old time bow hunters and archers know that bits and burger stuff. And I think that's the selling point. And
I have actually at work, there's a box of stuff that we got from when my boss's dad bought the company from Babe Bitzenberger, Henry's wife. There's a box of old letters, and there's a letter. I was gonna send you guys a copy of it. There's a letter from Howard Hill to Henry.
Wow.
Talking about how Howard liked how well the fletching jig worked. And he said it was the greatest archery invention ever.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like I like to say it's like the 1911 in fletching jigs.
Yeah.
You know, the 1911 design pistol is unchanged. It's still available, like the same like in the 1911, and so it's with the Bitzenberg, I think.
Yeah.
A little.
And once you set them, once you get them fine tuned, you never have to touch them again.
Yeah.
Unlike some of the other jigs that, you know, if you fine tune them and they might, you know, I'm trying to think of how to say it. With the plastic parts, over time.
Yeah. So you scratch around the clamp to remove the glue and and that is with a metal thing a lot better.
It's easy to do with a metal one. I had these plastic ones, you know, from this German supplier, and they are nice. You can handle them easy, but of course, if you work with glue and they're full of glue, you can't remove it, or you take the whole plastic off. And if you drop one on a tiled floor or a concrete floor, the corners always break off. So they're not very durable.
I have one other brand made of metal. I think it's an Italian, like Spigarelli or Spiga or somehow. And it's also a very nice one and has a very strong magnet, because on the Bitzenberg, it's not a really strong magnet, but it's okay. But this Italian one is a very strong magnet. It's the same like you had in the old carpets, you know, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like that. Very strong. Also nice thing.
Now, how old is your Bitzenberger, Peter?
I don't know. Not too old. I think from the 1990s.
Okay, because I think the newer magnets that we use now, they're pretty strong.
Okay.
So I think they might have upgraded the magnets too.
I don't complain about it. It's okay how they are.
Especially when it's too strong and you want to get rid of the clamp and the magnet holds it tight in case you rip too hard and then you rip the fletching off again. So it's
also true.
It's not so good. So that's why it's fine, I guess.
Yeah. And I used to use a lot of the, before I started using the Bitzenbergers when I was younger, I used to use the Joe Jans.
I don't know.
They were made in Pennsylvania, and you could fletch up 6 arrows at a time, or they had a single.
Okay.
So, and they were second in my choice for fletching jigs. If I had to choose between, if I didn't have Bitzenberger, I'd go with Joe Jan.
Okay.
But so.
No, but you have Bitzenberger. It's fine.
Yeah.
And you have the tradition. This is simply 80 years history. You can't beat that. You know, it was good, is good, so it will be good forever. So
I think the same is true with this old young feather burner. It's unchanged since the 1940s, I think.
Yeah, and those are Peter, have you ever seen any of the homemade ones that people have made?
I had one.
Yeah, you had one.
Yep.
Yeah.
A friend of mine made it me from a transformator, and I don't know where he got it from. And it was very, very powerful. You could make a nail glowing, you know.
Yeah, I remember. What was it? I remember in the old traditional bow hunter magazines when I was a kid. That's still a publication. I remember school teacher of mine was a traditional bow hunter, so after he would read the magazines, I would be able to read them. And there was a article in there, how to build your own feather burner from a train transformer. So
yes, from the model train transformer.
Yeah, and I made one and it worked, and then I got a young feather burner and I thought it was the Cadillac feather burners.
Yeah.
So
I never had one.
But
it makes sense because all these feather clamps where you hammer on it, you know, it's such a, I don't know.
Yeah. I like them. It's very smelly and stinky, of course, but nice.
You turn it through and they're nice.
And you can make your every shape you want. You
and
can
I think
do
it's
everything.
even better because it closes the top. You know, when
Yeah.
it cuts off,
Yeah.
it like
Yeah.
it seals it. And
Yeah.
when you crush it with these blades, they're still open and split. So I
Yeah.
think they last
Yeah.
even longer,
Yeah.
fly better and whatever. Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
and let me say this. And when you burn the feathers, you have a kind of burned rim on the feather,
Yeah.
and then you take a, you know, a carpenter knife, and you making one time like that, and that black stuff is gone, and they are like wonderful feathers.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of those die cutters for feathers, I played around with all different kinds, and I could never find one that I liked. I mean, either after a while, when you hit them with the little rubber mallet, the block on top will come off, or I've never had any good luck with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, I never used the bear paw ones. Were they pretty decent, or were they?
I tried them. So I had them when I was working for a friend of mine in Sylt. He had them, but it's always, you really have to hit it properly and strong that you cut them in the first strikes. And sometimes you have to hit it again. And then the feather jumped already out of the position. And then you have a miscut. And then it was always and it was loud. You know, it was a shop.
Yeah,
there were people running around and you bang, and everybody's looking what's going on. Hey, I only cut feathers, you know. It's
And as you say, I mean, so you have twice to handle the feather with a lot of care and a lot of you know, very careful, because you have to put it into that little slot, and after, when you glue it on the arrow, you also have to handle it very careful to put it into the clamp, and so and with burning, you only handle them once. You cut the lengths, put it in the clamp, put it on the arrow. You're fletching all your arrows. Maybe you let 3 like flus. You don't burn them. You let them in full shape, and then you burn them off. And they're all the same.
I remember my first experience with the young feather burner. I was fletching up some arrows, and I didn't know any better. Nobody ever told me. So I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I plug it into the wall, and I start burning feathers inside the house. In the smell, I'm like, oh my Lord.
What I like, I got recently from Fairbouw, Netherlands. They have these acrylic templates.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about those.
And you put them simply in, and then you cut with this small circular blade like a pizza cutter. Yeah, they are from I don't know, from sewing stuff. And you cut along, and then once you get the hang of it, how you go around the shape of this acrylic thing, then you can cut really fast and easy the feathers. It's nice.
Okay, while the feather is not on the arrow, just
no, it's just of course, it's
okay,
on cutting board, and you put this acrylic.
I understand.
And then you simply run around the outline of this thing with this round blade. Because when you take a carpenter's knife or whatever, and the feathers will always go away. But with this round one, it was really nice working. So you get a really nice clean cut. So this would be still the better alternative than down.
And you know what? I think that old guys like Saxon Pope and Art Young, and also Howard Hill, I saw some of the arrows. I'm sure they just cut it with a shear. They fletched the arrow and cut off with a single shear.
Yeah. Now, I remember John Lee was showing me one time when I seen him. he was showing me Howard's one of Howard's cutters, feather cutters that he made out of, I think it was just a piece of regular bar stock steel that he put an edge on, and it was in a parabolic shape, and he just used a hammer and
only that iron and the hammer.
Yep. So which was kind of pretty cool for
I think Howard had a lot of homemade stuff. In one video, in one clip, you can see he had a kind of tiller machine where a kind of thing pulls the bow and so on. Have you ever seen it, Armin?
No. Oh. You never send me links of interesting videos, guys. You know, all you naked women, you don't have to send me links. Joking. But I saw once a video of a Japanese arrow maker, and they had then like a hot blade, and then he was simply going over it gently. So he was burning it, but freehand with a blade.
They said the American Indians, the Native Americans, they made it with a kind of glowing stick and burnt the feathers like that.
Once you get the hang of it, I think you can do it. Yeah. Maybe not as accurate each feather, but
but half a centimeter doesn't matter in arrow flight. In fact, as we know,
when you can shoot, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, cool. So
yeah, it's just like with we get calls all the time with guys asking, well, what about helical? How much helical should I have on my feather? Or, I shoot right-handed. Should I shoot left-wing feathers? And because if you look in all the old books, they say if you're right-handed, you shoot left-wing feathers, and if you're left-handed, you shoot right-wing feathers. Well, that's here nor there. I mean, to me, it's just personal preference.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old Bitzenbergers, the first ones were made with straight clamps. And I'm not exactly sure what year they started offering helical clamps. But for the first couple of years, it was just straight clamps that they made. And, you get some of these guys that say, oh, I want, as much helical as I can get in my feathers. Well, I mean...
In my opinion, that helical thing only makes sense with hunting arrows, because for the broadhead you need maybe more brake power in the back, so the arrow straightens faster, because you don't like maybe you have to shoot just about 6 meters or 8 yards or so you like a straight arrow in this short distance. And there, the helical fletch makes sense to me. But with target and 3D archery, there's no reason for helical fletch, in my opinion.
No.
But it's nice. But it's nice when the arrow leaves the bow and it starts, like a bullet comes out of the rifle. It's just nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of like with that slow-mo video in one of your last videos you posted, Armin, where you could see in the air with the slow-mo, the white feathers just going to the target. So, but I remember reading, what was it, in Bob Swinehardt's book, when he was going to Africa, he claimed that he shot arrows that had more helical than standard hunting arrows, but I could never figure out what kind of fletching jig he was using to even...
Maybe none. I saw last time a video of this guy. I told you that we might have him in the show. He shoots this Native American style, like Lars is now reinventing it again, but he did it since a while longer. And he simply uses a bamboo stick, and then he uses 2 fletchings. He tapes them in the front, and then he stretches them, and then he simply turns a shaft. Half cycle, and then he sticks them on the back, and it's fine. So he simply he only
rotates
the back, and in the middle he simply stretches them, twist it, and leave it like this. So he has half of the diameter is a twist in the fletching. That's fine. They don't need a jig for that.
No.
And he uses screws as tips, so he builds very cheap arrows. Or for what he's doing is fine.
Yeah, I seen a video. I think it was last night. A guy was making cheap dowel rod or arrows from hardware store dowels, and he was using duct tape as fletchings. And which actually I've tried it and it works for a fast arrow.
Yeah, works fine.
But he was taking old keys and cutting the tips of the keys off for broadheads. But it seemed to work okay. I mean, for small game, I wouldn't see why it wouldn't work if you were shooting a heavy enough bow.
Or if you use a coffee spoon, you hammer it flat, a coffee spoon, you have the tang on the spoon, and you shape the
of course.
I think it would be a nice broadhead. No?
It's simply DIY solutions just in case zombie apocalypse and you can't buy.
Yeah,
and
duct tape and
yourself,
coffee spoons and dowels.
That or guys use old bandsaw blades or table saw blades. So it's amazing once you start looking at all the stuff that these guys do. It's it's crazy what these guys build bows out of.
That's true.
Arrows and it's just.
I have this big kind of books. How is the guy? Was it Wade Phillips with this broadhead?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, very old homemade broadheads, and very interesting. Like to look at that books.
Great.
So what, Peter, behind you there in your broadhead case?
Yeah.
What do you think is the rarest broadhead that you have? Do you have any extremely rare?
I think the rarest of them all is a Coe slasher from Cliff Coe.
Yep, made here in Michigan.
Yeah. Yep. And
now you need to show us. Okay, come on, move here.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, when we talk about it, it's like you talk about it and then you don't show it, really. Where are we here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Armin, did you see that one fellow on YouTube that was showing the feather template? And that was like the template that Faribault was selling, but it's like a 7 or 8 inch long template for what style feather shape? Because I thought they'd be.
It's for Manchu. When you have these Manchurian bows, they are quite long, and the arrows are somewhere 34 to 36 inches, and they had very long, up to 10-inch long feathers. But only very, very minimal height. So the shaft diameter was kind of the same as the height of the feather. So they had very long feathers, but not high. So they don't slow down that much, but they stabilize this long arrow easy because 10-inch long.
Now, do they put any helical in those, or do they?
No, straight, simply straight.
I thought that was one of the cooler looking feather designs.
Yeah, it's cool. I have this template from Faribault. It's really cool. Because I don't know these feather cutters, most probably they max out at 6 or 7 inches, I guess, right? Or what is the length of what's the length what's the maximum length of your feathers on a feather cutter?
On mine, 5.5 on my arrows. Yep. So, and a lot of guys now are going to like the shooting the 2.5 and 3 inch feathers.
Yeah, of course, you hunting guys, you shoot these small feathers. But for me, when I go for I have these Turkish military design, they are 7 inches or 8 inches. They are even the same, very, very, very thin, but very long. So they look simply nice.
Yeah.
So that's why I need a special made feather cutter then. But then I guess the longer it is, then the wire will get a little, maybe too flimsy or something. I don't know. Or you need to have a thicker wire then that you can overcome 8 inches or something. I don't know. Where's the arrow? Where's the broadhead?
Back then, in the 1990s, there was in the traditional bow hunter magazine, there was an advertising for this book, 44 years behind the bow, from Cliff Coe. And I had some friends, Karl Hofmeister and Theo Schett, and we were kind of collecting books about archery. And so I wrote to Mr. Coe if he can send me 3 signed copies of this book. And so I got the signed copy. And I still have here the correspondence inside what we wrote.
Nice.
And there was one article in the book, in the traditional bow hunter magazine, on Cliff Coe. And in this article, he showed, I saw in his bookshelf, he was at his desk over there, and in the bookshelf was this book of Weinhard, Sagittarius. And when I ordered I think 4 copies of his book, I wrote him a kind of letter and said, Yeah, well, and if he knows someone who would sell that Sagittarius book, if he knows a book, I would buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sent me the 4 books and sent me the co-slasher with, and he wrote very kind. I think he was about 80 years old or so. Yes, I have some left in my tackle box, and this one is, I don't know if you can see it, there's still blood on this, dried blood on this old broadhead.
Yes.
And I don't know. Let me look for this date here.
It was probably because he cut himself when he unboxed it. That's why there's blood on it.
I bought the books in 1996, and he sent me this slasher broadhead with. And in 1998, he sent me a letter. He don't know someone who would sell the Sagittarius book, but if I really want one, he would sell me his.
Wow. Okay.
He charged me $50, what's not a lot for this book. And then he sent me over the book, and he also he also signed me the Sagittarius book here inside.
Okay, cool.
You see, nice story. And I think Cody will know it's a very rare broadhead.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're actually those book Sagittarius, they have to be kind of hard to find over there in the UK and Germany, aren't they, Peter?
Pardon? They are very rare. Yeah.
And in Europe, you don't get them at all, I guess.
No,
rarely. So you need to get them from America then.
Yeah. Back then, before the internet, there was, I don't know what was the name. There was a kind of antiquarian archery and hunting book dealer. I think his name was Greg Repasinski, and he had a kind of copied catalog, and you had to write him. So he sent over his catalog of the old books, and it was quite a job to get old books back then before the internet.
Yeah.
Now, Peter, do you have Bob Swinehardt's other book in Africa that was printed?
Of course. It's a nice one.
That's a lot harder to come by than Sagittarius is.
Yeah. Look. Rhinoceros and so on. Yeah, this is more rare than the other one.
Yep. That rhino is actually in the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C.
Really?
Yeah.
Here's some for Armin. Look.
Why do you think so?
Because you like girls, no? Women.
Don't we all? No?
Oh, yeah.
So then? That's why you have the markings on these pages, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Of course.
And you can find him easily once he's very lonely.
Oh, he was a very cool guy.
Yeah.
Where's that picture? The most famous picture is when he faces the Cape buffalo, no? Drawing the bow.
I would have to say the elephant, where he's in front of the elephant.
Yeah, I really like that one where he draws the bow to at the Cape. This one. In the back is the buffalo, and he's from behind and shooting at the buffalo.
Was he lefty?
Yeah. Very cool picture, in my opinion.
Like Uncle Fred.
Yeah. Yeah. In some of the pictures, he uses Ben Pearson deadhead broadheads, very big ones. Oh, here you have it with an elephant.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where the heck. So Peter, you guys want to see something really cool?
Yes,
of course.
All right. So this book is kind of beat up, and I bought it from Pennsylvania off eBay. This copy of In Africa is actually, can you see that?
Yeah.
It is actually, this book was signed from Bob Swinehart to his grandmother.
Wow.
And if you look up on, I don't know what page it is in Sagittarius, but it says, but it's signed to his grandmother, Nanny, and it says "Love Bob."
Wow. Wow.
I guess what happened was the seller that sold this copy of In Africa also had a copy of Sagittarius, an original copy, and they both came from the estate sale of Swinehart's brother, David. So, but I don't have any other history other than it was came from his estate sale.
Yeah.
And you know, when you are so lucky to get the Sagittarius, you only will get it without the dust cover for usually like that.
Yeah.
And with the dust cover, it's worth $100 more, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, and I've seen those books in really bad shape sell for a couple of $100 US.
Yeah. Here I have an original article about Bob Swinehardt's death from the local newspapers.
Yeah.
Big game hunter found dead in Pottstown.
Yeah.
What was the cause of his death?
He shot himself.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You know, women, I mean, be careful.
Oh, hey.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really, I never really went down that rabbit hole either to really trying to figure out what happened or.
I think he was a kind of unhappy guy. He wanted to be very manly, and that's why he did all this stuff. And so I there's a kind of tragedy behind.
Yeah. Well, I did read an article. I don't know if I sent it to you, Peter, but somebody bought Swinehart's old house and they started fixing it up. Did you read that article?
No, I don't think so.
Oh crap! I thought I sent you that link.
But
yeah, it was in Popular Science magazine or Popular Mechanics. But yeah, this couple bought Bob Swinehart's old house, and they started fixing it up, and they just found all kinds of supposedly strange things in the house. Like, so I don't know if Mr. Swinehart was a little paranoia. I don't know what the deal was, but I do know that he was in Korea. I think it was Korea.
In the war.
Yeah. And he was one of the fellas, I guess, after the battles, he would have to go out and pick up the bodies.
Okay.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it or.
Yeah.
But I think that leaves an impression which you will never get rid of. I think.
Yeah.
At least it is possible that it leaves a kind of impression.
Yeah. But it still doesn't take away from, I mean, the man was an absolute badass. So, I mean, running down a bull elephant with a bow or, you know, Cape Buffalo and.
Yeah, but you never know when there's depression or trauma, you know, you can't look inside a person. Yeah. And maybe he used all this manly stuff, as you said, for compensating and dealing with his inner conflicts he had, maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
I think so.
He needed the adrenaline, or I don't know.
You know, it's how we call it, housekeeper psychology. We don't know.
I do know that him and Howard both put on shooting exhibitions together, though. Yeah.
He was quite the trick shot himself, Bob Swinehart, but I never seen any video or something.
There is no video. I've been trying to hunt down video.
This is the famous one. I mean, look, picture.
Okay.
You see how small the arch is.
With a small bow and arrow, you take out such an enemy.
Yeah. That picture tells us this. Yeah. Yeah, nice. And yeah, that Cliff Coast story makes a little is additional interesting with this book, and so I like.
Makes you a bit emotional now. Yes, I see.
Yeah.
I can send you a tissue via email, and then you can you can print it. And
Mr. Coe had a lot of patents and drawings from innovative bow ideas, and so he was a kind of interesting guy, Cliff Coe.
Yeah. Did you see in there, Peter, in Cliff's book there? I can't remember what page it's on, but it's in where it's like one of the first compounds from like the 1890s or something that has like I think there's springs on it or something.
I think I remember. Like that cylindrical springs.
Yeah, and it was from what, the 1890s or?
Wow.
Yeah.
So.
And he made very nice and unique recurve bows, I think, Mr. Coe.
Yep. Yeah, I still find them here and there, being that he was from Michigan. I still find them here and there at yard sales and flea markets. And
this is really for us Europeans completely not understandable how you, like the photos you showed us last time from a barn find, and then you go home with 5 different compound bows, and I don't know, you don't find it here. You can go to a flea market, you will never find bow and arrow. And you go there and you find all these nice, awesome old historical. This is insane, but this America is different.
Yeah.
Yes, there are drawings of center shot bows and look, early takedown bows, folding bows, and so really interesting. And look here from the picture, he was kind of cool guy do this, Mr. Coe. Look at this picture with the trap outfit and a Daniel Boone hat, I think. No.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Nice. What are you doing with all these old bows you find in these barns and flea markets and sales?
Well, usually the compounds, I'll try to fix them up.
Okay.
And give them away to kids, or, if somebody needs a bow, I, sell it real cheap as long as it's shootable. There's mostly the compounds go to bow fishing people, though.
Okay.
The guys that like the bow fish. But like there was 2 or 3 youth bows in that barn find that I got. So those I'll fix up if they need to be fixed up.
Yeah.
And I'll build some arrows, and I usually just give them away to kids.
Nice.
So
good point.
But like the recurves, sometimes I'll keep them, and sometimes maybe I'll trade them, like 2 or 3 recurves for a bow that I want if somebody has.
Okay.
Or so.
Was in this last barn find not an Oneida bow? Was there not an Oneida?
Yeah, an Oneida. Yeah.
What's the condition of this bow? Is it in a good shape, or?
Yeah, it just needs a string. Have you ever shot an Oneida, Armin?
Once, yeah, because one of my students got one from America, but it was such an old, it was rattling, or when you looked at it already, when you shot it, it was like, so it would have needed to be fixed up, but it wasn't. So, but this is the only compound bow I would be interested in. This is an Oneida bow, I think I like this idea with this, with this folding limbs. This is such an ingenious idea for me.
Yeah, and that's my other thing too, is I've had a couple of them, and I can't remember how many because they started, I think they started building them in 1982 or 83 in New York.
Yeah.
And then they also got bought out by a gentleman named Claude Pollington. And Claude lived up north of me, up in Marion. So they moved to Michigan. So we still find them around here in Michigan too, at yard sales and barn sales.
Oh, that's insane. Here you don't find any. In Europe, you barely.
1952.
With the springs, with the spring coils.
Yeah. Very sophisticated stuff inside here.
Cool.
You know,
imagine you should build
ahead,
one like this. You have the book. You should build one. Come on.
I thought
here is a device, a fast shooting device for 3 arrows combined with a sight. So you have the 3 arrows on your bow, and you just have to knock them and so on. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah. So, I thought about building one of those compounds like that in Cliffco's book.
Exactly. Would make sense, even for the historical, that you see how they work, if they work, is it powerful, or, it's simply it's interesting.
Yeah, I think there's another picture in there.
Also simple bows. Look, here's a wooden bow with the shape and how it will bend when it's strung and so on.
Yeah.
Peter, is that Fred Bear's patent, that one, or is that, I think it should say on there if that's Bear's patent or not.
I think this is W.M. Folbert.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think he was from Ohio, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He built quite a few oddball looking recurves and longbows.
Mm-hmm.
But
this one is I think the original from H.W. Allen, who invented the compound bow officially.
Mm-hmm.
From that Mr. Allen.
I saw once one hanging on the wall like this.
Yeah. But it looks quite modern for a compound bow, no?
Yeah. It didn't change a lot in the beginning. When you see even the brown bear, it's kind of like still same principle, and then they gotten shorter and shorter, and the bigger pulleys and stuff. Yeah, cams.
Yeah, the bows went short, and the cams get bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also got I do believe it's the brown bear in that barn.
I saw it. Yeah, in your barn find. I think it's the same. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna shoot that one too. It's been a while since I shot one of those brown bears.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? I really love that old compound bows too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I love them too. I love the old bear compounds. Have you ever seen those, Peter?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
With these levers, the cams, and they have additional like levers, no, with cams and so on.
Oh, you're talking about the Delta V, I think, right?
Oh, the Delta V was one of the fastest at the time, right?
Here's an old bear, black bear. You see, with this brackets around the limb tip with the wheels.
Yeah. You know how to change. I think the ones with the brackets you can actually move to change the draw weight.
Yeah, there are different holes in the bracket, so you can shorten and lengthen the bow. I think. Yeah.
Nice.
So, I'm not. I shoot longbow, but I
like them all.
I like them. I even like. I might get scolded for this, but I even like crossbows. I think they're
nice too.
Of course. Yeah.
Crossbows are fun.
Yeah. So
we simply like everything what you can shoot. I mean, I like atl, where you throw a spear or what. Everything is fine as long as you can throw something away and hit something. As
long as it shoots, it's fine.
Exactly.
I have to show you that old compound bow. Just a moment.
Yeah, please. So which Oneida was in this barn find? Which Oneida is that?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know which model it is. Okay. I sent some photos of it to a buddy of mine, and I'm waiting to hear back to see which. Because I know they may. Go ahead, Darwin.
How many bows do you have right now laying around? 100, 200?
Oh, I honestly don't know. I'd have to count.
Lost count. Yeah.
It's an old Ben Pearson compound bow. Look, it's made of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this additional cam,
look at this,
with a kind of, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, very heavy, very interesting.
Yeah.
And that draw is like a recurve bow. It's like a drawing curve like that, not like that with a compound, but it gets stronger and stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
But very nice.
What's the poundage?
I don't know. I think about 60 pounds.
Okay. But that's quite a massive riser.
Yeah.
Actually, I think at the time, if I'm not mistaken, they were just taking recurves off the line and cutting the limbs down.
And put some
they actually somewhere in my archery books, I have a
could be.
I have an old book that you could have bought through a mail order catalog, and it's like I think it's 70 pages long, and it shows you step by step how you can take a recurve to cut it down to make it into a compound.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And look, it had that split limbs very early on. Yeah. And look at how that how cool the arrow rest is. It's a kind of brush, like a brush. You put the arrow here on that brush.
Yeah, see.
Very interesting.
You're out and about and you lose it, you take your toothbrush and put it inside.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Very interesting.
It's this is, I mean,
here you can
decades of developing bows, it's of course it's totally interesting.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Yeah. But I think still these old compounds have some character. Let's say, I don't find a better word, but they have something. When you have this wood riser, and then I don't know these modern ones. I shot these modern ones too with magnesium riser and whatever. And I don't know.
It's archery spirit inside.
Yeah. There's still a piece of the forest, of the woods. When you have a piece of wood, and the soul of the wood comes with.
And I love this old bow. I'd never shot. When I got it, I made some shots. It works. It's nice. And now it's on the wall. But I love it as I love my longbows because it's a nice piece of history, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
Now, Peter, what is that? The black bear you got hanging up behind you there on the wall with the arrow?
Show us your black bear.
Yeah. Oh.
But the bow, please. Okay. Don't bring your girlfriend. Shut up. It's because I'm too long with Peter. That's why I was never like this, But this talks with Peter, it's always like,
Yeah. Like move. It's like hurry up, move your ass.
Yeah.
It's dusty.
I
have to whip my cleaning mate. I see.
Yeah, my morphology will like it then. Yeah, that's why.
Yes, it's that black bear.
Wow. Yeah.
Black Bear 2 model. And yes, I had one of these original old bear quivers and also 3 original bear broadhead arrows with the razor head on.
Nice.
Yeah. And sometimes back, I got this one. You know what this is, Armin?
Yes, the dampener.
No.
No.
Cody knows it, but you don't. Here's a
reel for fishing.
Cord inside.
Okay,
no.
It's no, I don't know.
I think it was called Game Tracker. No, Cody.
Yeah, Game Tracker. Yep.
And you had the arrow on this. That cork will come off, and there's a lot of string inside, and it was fastened to the hunting arrow, so you can find the deer.
Yeah, I mean, learn to shoot better, then you don't need to run after your deer.
No, it's just because
the bad archers.
You will easily find that line in the woods. I don't know. Was it made so it broke at one given distance or so, Cody?
No, I've all the old guys that I've ever talked to that used them. Both my grandpa and my dad used them too, and I've heard both. I've heard good things about them, and I've heard bad things about them because, the strings would break if they went across a sharp whatever in the field. But then I've heard there was a lot of game that was actually found because of those.
Yeah. So the idea was that the string stays on the arrow. Of course, on the arrow.
Understood.
But I think even if it's just 10 meters of this line, you will easier find the game.
The trace, of course. Yeah, of course.
And I think a lot of guys use them when they for turkey hunting too, when they shot turkeys, because turkeys, you know, they get shot, they take off real fast, and so. And somebody was telling me with shooting a turkey, you have to be really precise because they're something with the way they're structured or something. Their wing, their body is. If you shot them in the wrong place, they would get away really easily.
In my opinion, it's true with all of this, also with ducks and goose, because you overestimate the body of these animals. So the body is quite smaller, and the heart and everything, the vitals are a lot smaller than you would think of. If you don't hit them very precisely, as he says, they go away. Fly away. Yeah, because it's a kind of old shit. I put it on that old bow, and so it's kind of hunting item.
Tracer. Never knew that this existed. Nowadays, we could make a small GPS tracker in an arrow shaft.
Yeah, in the knob or somewhere.
It with your app, you know.
Yeah. No. And this was just a 4-arrow quiver. I mean, you had 3 on the outside and 1 on the inside.
Yeah, it's enough for hunting, I guess.
Yeah.
We have one shot.
Yeah.
Now, Peter, do you have any of the old archery magazines from the 50s and 60s?
I had some, I think.
Because if I remember right, there was I don't think it was a GPS, but they called it, I think they called them like a shaft spider or something. It was something you would put on your arrow, so when you shot it, you could find it. But yeah, it was kind of funny you bring up the GPS thing, but yeah, it was like called the shaft spider. But they used to advertise those in the 60s and early 70s.
And how did it work?
As far as I know, it was like a little thing you put inside the aluminum, or of course aluminum or fiberglass arrow.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like a magnet, if it was a light. I don't know. It was. I tried to look it up after seeing the ads in the archery magazines. I tried to look it up, could never find anything on them.
Okay. Yeah, I thought always you should only put one of these key finders, you know, where you and then you could find your arrow too.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Cody. It was like you know, like how is it called? Like a CB radio receiver or something. So maybe with a you know, that little radios you can find them. I don't know.
Yeah. So
maybe.
Cool. Yeah, find it, guys. I'm interested now. You always spoil me with stuff, and then you know.
You only need them if you miss a lot. We don't miss, so we don't need.
I'm a bad archer. I miss a lot of things. No, it's simply for the sake of what they all came up with, you know, in these. I don't know, 100 years from when they started with these bows. It's so insane what they all think about and what they need. It's interesting.
And it's crazy how it's actually honestly crazy how fast archery has evolved since, like, say, the 1900s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how fast, you know, guys were, you know, building this and building that, and guys think, oh, well, this is new. Well, no, not actually new. It's guys have been doing this for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah. So and interesting enough, not from those countries where there's still a big archery tradition, like China or Korea or somewhere in the East, but it exploded in the West, in the United States, and not connected. I don't know. Maybe one could say if Sexton Pope wouldn't have met Ishii, maybe he never would have bow hunted. I don't know. But they were the kind of pioneers, Arthur Young, also Fred Bear, Saxton Pope, and so on. And then it exploded. Think about Fred Bear. In the beginning, he just made some quivers and braces because he worked in an upholstery, in the car industry.
Yeah. And then
bow hunting started.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, Now, have you, Armin and Peter, have you ever looked like on any of the old, in the old newspapers from like where you're from to look up archery stuff? If there was ever anything about archery posted, and
there was kind of nothing.
Nothing.
There's one old book from the early 1900s. I have to look it up. It's in German, but it's all, of course, just on target archery, no hunting stuff. And it was just Olympic stuff back then, I think.
Yeah.
No,
we don't have this history here like you have over there.
So they say that Canada has a pretty rich archery history though too as well.
I think so, yes.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you could think of, they had a lot of forest, of course, they went hunting, and they had, of course, the same development, I guess, like in America.
But I also think when Art Young and Saxon Pope and also Fred Bear and these guys started doing this, I think it was even a kind of romantic thing back then. I think so, because it was not just about sports and not just about hunting. I think it was a kind of romantic spirit.
Yeah.
Hopelessly romantics.
Because if you think about it, Doug Easton of Easton Aluminum Arrows, I guess he was recovering from a shotgun wound while he got that he had happened to him. I believe it was a gunshot wound while he was rabbit hunting, and he was laid up in the hospital, and he started reading Saxon Pope's book. And I think he was 17 or 18 at the time. And so after he got out of the hospital, he started building bows, and he was shooting someplace in California at one of the parks. And this gentleman come up to him and started talking to him about how he liked how his arrows were made and his bow. And it turned out to be Saxon Pope.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so, and then I think it said after that, Doug Easton was all in on building archery equipment. And some of his wood arrows were top of the line, but they were like world famous, from what I understand.
Even here in Europe, I think the target archers, Easton was always a big brand.
Easton has a big name everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Sorry, are you ready, Cody?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
What is very interesting is we don't know a lot about Arthur Young, because in my opinion, he don't wrote a lot of. I think he wrote some articles for that old Sylvan Archer magazine, hunting stories and so, I think. But he must have been a hell of a guy. Also an exceptional pistol and rifle shot. He was able to play his little violin. So he was a kind of what I like, a warrior and how to say it, and an artist. Like the samurai, they had to paint and to write poems and so on, but they were bloody warriors. And I think Arthur Young was a kind of like that.
I can see it now, Armin. Peter's getting ready to write his third book.
Yeah.
And I think Saxon Pope wrote it. He was exceptional runner, everything. He was a sports canon, we would say in German.
Yeah.
And what was his profession? What was Art Young's profession? Do you know, Cody?
I don't know what his profession was. I do know that Saxon Pope, of course, was a doctor.
Was a doctor, yeah.
Yeah. But as far as Art Young, I would have not a clue. So because I do know that I know that Art Young spent some time with Fred Bear down in Detroit for a while.
And inside Cliff Coe's book is a picture of Art Young and what's the other name? Carl Strang. Here with the head is Art Young. This is Carl Strang, and this one is Fred Bear. A very old picture
Mm-hmm.
from 1928.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, and I do believe that Art Young's film too was also a big influence on archery of the time.
Mm-hmm.
How was the name of the movie? Bow hunting Alaska, or like that.
Dang it!
Alaskan Adventure.
Yeah, Alaskan Adventure.
Yeah.
I kept on thinking of The Last Wilderness, but that was Howard Hill's film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that one, Armin? You see Art Young with his trapper jacket, leather jacket with fringes and so on. He wears the side quiver kind of high, like a back quiver, has a very clumsy, fat English longbow, but very short. And he's behind the bush, and there, I think, 4 grizzly bears walk by. He has a kind of cowboy hat, and then he raises from that bush and shots at the grizzly bear, and there were 4 of them. They looked at him, and then they ran away, and I think he ran after them also. Crazy guy.
Yeah. Well, it's just like where he shot that was it that goat or whatever on the side of the mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It fell down a lot, very steep slope, I think. And what I loved most is that adventures when they hunted lions in Africa. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, because they never there was never any film made about that, I don't think, only the book. So
yeah.
Nowadays would be easy. Everybody has a GoPro.
Yeah.
And Art Young made for himself kind of this size, like daggers, rhino heads. And when Saxon Bob came by and said, "Oh, what about this big arrowheads?" These are rhino heads, they may come handy, Art Young said to Dr. Pope. And then I think Pope made himself a set of these big broadhead arrows.
Wow.
There was another book that talks about, I think it was Art Young. It was called David Goes to Greenland. Have you ever heard of that?
I have it.
Is it? I have not read it yet. Is it any good?
Yeah. I just bought it because Art Young joined the travel. They went with a ship up to Greenland, and it was, I think, the son of the publisher was David, was a boy, I don't know, about 12 years or so. And they were millionaires. The Putnam Publishing Company, very old, very big publishing company. And they made that expedition, and Arthur Young joined them when he shot the walrus and something.
Yeah. And then there's the other book too, Lions in the Path.
I have it too.
Yeah. By
Stuart Edward White. Yeah. And it's even available in German language.
Nice.
It's in German. It's mit Pfeil und Bogen auf Löwenjagd. It means with arrow and bow on the lion hunt.
It's interesting that in German we say mit Pfeil und Bogen, means with arrow and bow.
Yeah.
But in America everybody says with bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Ein Buch der Abenteuer aus der afrikanischen Steppe.
Yeah. Because isn't 3D course Panzer course or something in German? Or
what?
How do you guys say 3D? Or what is it?
3D.
What's that?
3D parkour, and you say 3D parkour.
Yeah,
almost the same.
Now is that pretty big over there? 3D shooting?
Yes.
Yeah, in Austria.
In Austria.
Also in Germany, it's growing. They have a lot already, and it's getting more and more. Yeah.
So what is the offset? I guess you would say. Is it like half and half, people shooting compounds and people shooting traditional, or is it?
here over, it's I think the opposite than in the United States. Here are, I think, more traditional archers than Olympic and compound archers.
Yeah, I think
I'd say so.
Mm.
Look, here are above. You have a nice picture with a dead lion and Pope and Young, and in the middle is the professional hunter. His name was Leslie Simpson. He was the kind of guide for the hunt. And I don't know how they stayed for 6 months or so, Cody, They drove over with a ship from the United States to Africa. And while they were in the ship, they made themselves, each of them, 1,000 arrows.
For what?
For the hunt.
1,000. Okay.
Each person.
Yeah.
Crazy guys.
Yeah, and they were all made by hand too. Each one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And for a while, their broadheads were made one at a time too by hand.
Yeah.
So.
You can find it, I mean, at book antiquaries and so on.
Yeah.
They're not very expensive because nobody is interested in them. Yeah, nice one. And the nice thing is that Dr. Pope wrote, how is the book called? Adventurous Bowman, about this journey to Kenya. And you have the other view of the rifle hunter, because Stuart Edward White was a rifle hunter, a professional guy, a big game hunter. So he had another view of this
of the same
event.
story.
So you have same story, but two different views. Very
Interesting. Yeah.
And then I do believe he also wrote a book called The Study of the Bow and Arrow.
Sexton Pope, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I do believe in there that there was he studied quite a bit of the horn bows from,
Yeah, in the museums. Yeah, he even shot them. He took them out from the museums and shot them. Some he broke. Yeah. And back then, I think it was in the 90s, Gene Wenzel reprinted this study.
I do believe so.
I have it. It was a dark green paperback, and it also contained the health history of Ishi. There's a big section about Ishi and the medical aspect, what Saxon Pope wrote about his tuberculosis or what he had. And it's called, I think, Yana Archery, about Ishi's health, and a study in bow and arrows. And all these 3 works are in one bigger book.
Yeah.
Quite expensive now.
Honestly, in my opinion, I kind of wish they would have just left Ishi alone. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Peter?
I don't know what to think about it, because I read there is also a big conspiracy out that Ishi was a kind of fraud, that he wasn't the last of his tribe, that he just was a kind of hobo. And I don't know. What would you say, Cody?
I honestly, I don't know enough about him other than what I've read, and I've even tried on one of the newspaper websites I can get on that has the old newspapers from going all the way back to like the 1700s. I've tried to dig up the stuff from Ishi, and I've yet to be able to find it. So,
but I don't think Dr. Pope made it up.
I'm not gonna. I don't think there's just no way he would have made it up.
No.
So,
but I don't know.
I don't know anything about it. I know Ishi, but I never wrote anything.
The stories. I think some surveyors wiped out his tribe, and he was the last surviving guy.
Sounds good.
I don't know.
It always sounds good when it's the last of his tribe. It always sounds.
And they had big problems to understand him. They brought in different linguists and so on, specialists for Indian languages and so Native American languages. and then they found one, and then they declared him he must be of the Yana or Yahi tribe.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. But it's a nice story.
Because didn't they? Isn't there a photo of him like wearing regular regular clothes at one time?
I look if I can find that book there, pictures inside. Just a moment.
And why do you think, Cody, it would have been best to leave him alone?
I don't know. I guess I really don't know. It's just I guess it's the way I think. I mean, I don't know if they used him for. I'm not saying that Dr. Saxon Pope or Art Young used him for anything, but almost like an attraction, if you know what I'm saying, to bring.
Why put this guy in a book? I mean, he shoots differently, he hunts differently, he does everything differently. So why? And then you don't even understand properly what he's saying. So for me, it feels, what I read about it feels like what you just said, a little of an attraction, whatever, that you have something else to say. And the last one of his tribe always sounds good. But let's see. But I didn't read enough of it, so I have not really an idea.
That's why I would like to try to find some of the original paperwork or news stories.
Keep digging.
The book was called The Rarest Works of Saxon Pope.
I have heard about that. I have not seen that book yet. I've read about it.
You always need to ask Peter. He has old books. We did once a
1996 from Gene Wenzel. And the first book is Yahi Archery. It's about, there are a lot of arrowheads, Ishi made from beer bottles and so on.
That's why you thought it's a hobo.
Yeah.
He had a lot of beer bottles around. So what shall I do with them?
The measurements of Ishi's bow. And
quite short. It had only 23-inch draw or something, right? Wasn't very
long. How he held the arrow in the bow hand.
Yeah.
Very special.
There you go, Armin. That's a new one for you. Let's see if you can shoot like that.
How he had the
pinch.
How he grasped the arrow.
I tried this last time. It's weird. Yeah, it's completely weird to have this finger, but it's a different way of pinch grip, and then you support. It's okay.
Then also,
but he had the arrow on the right side, on the outside, not on the inside.
Yeah, they shot the York round, kind of Olympic stuff with Ishi, and wrote down the scores, how much he shot, and so on. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. His quiver and his bows and so on. His arrows, he made different styles of arrows, hunting arrows and bird arrows and so on.
Cody, can you please not ask Pete about any books anymore?
Okay.
We know we did once a podcast about our famous.
How he's making
two podcasts to get 50% of his books in. Now talk. Now Peter, we like
arrowheads.
To I'm joking.
Just joke, I mean, joke.
Of course, I'm good.
You should learn, not joke.
Why? What shall I learn?
He's wearing kind of usual outfit and shooting the bow and arrow.
Yeah. I never got used to this kind of draw.
Yeah.
The next book is the medical history of Ishi. Here you can find everything about his illness and how he was, how he behaved, and so on. Very interesting. Even drawings from his, what his problems were and so on.
Yeah, Dr. Pope should know.
Yeah.
If you have a Pope who is doctor, No, wait, joking. I need to learn. I need somebody
casts from his feet and from his hands and so on, plaster casts and so on. And the last book is A Study of Bow and Arrows. And that was a kind of journey Saxon Pope made through the museums and examined different arrows and test shooted also Asian bows, as you see here above.
Yeah, at least he had finally a proper bow in his hand. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Look, he has a big kind of Manchu bow or something.
So normal, yeah, it's a European.
Look at this big bow.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah. And here's that one more. Here's that famous picture from the famous story when he went into a museum and asked the museum guy or officer or so if he would allow him to shoot with the bodkin arrow and that mail armor, an original mail armor from the Middle Ages, from the medieval times, and the museum guy said, "Oh well, yes, I will put it on and you shoot." And Saxon Bob said, "No, we put it on a wooden board or so." And here's the picture inside. The arrow sticks in the chain armor, through and through. Yeah, it's a rare book.
So Peter, I see the you guys were talking about last week or whenever you over the weekend when you put the podcast up, the other one about how you thought that the Howard Hill style bow would outshoot or shot faster than a horn bow. Was that what was going on?
Yeah, it's simply Pete has your opinion. 50 pounds is 50 pounds. If you shoot a 50-pound longbow, it will throw the arrow in the same way than if you shoot a 50-pound horsebow.
Yeah.
To sum it up.
I said, for example, Korean style short, bows are superior to that with the big Sias because the system Armin was explaining, it hits the bridge and then the arrow bounces off again and so on. I don't believe in that.
Yeah. Because I shot some of what was it? Lucas Novotny's horn bows. I do believe it was a horn bow. Yeah. One of them, probably 10 or so years ago when he was at one of the archery shoots here. And I shot it for a half hour and I could not believe how fast that thing shot. Yeah. And it was truly amazing. Of course, Lucas, he's a damn good bowyer. Yes. I mean,
and he builds his bows purely for performance. So he gets the max out of a bow. Yes.
Yeah. And I do believe he had a longbow that he built. It was fiberglass, and I'm not sure what the core. I don't remember what the core was, but it was a regular standard longbow with a little bit of reflex and deflex in it. And that it shot wonderful. It was just. But now he mostly just builds horse bows, doesn't he? Yep. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because is he still living in Florida or is he living in the Czech Republic now?
I don't know yet. I only heard that he's looking for a bowyer who takes over his business because he doesn't want to build bows, or don't know what the reason is, but he was looking for someone taking over his business.
Yeah.
Cody, so do you believe in that? When you have a bow with very lightweight, not light draw weight, but very lightweight limbs, like a Korean horsebow, or how you like to call it, and it is 50 pounds, and you have and it's a glassed bow, and also the Manchu bow is a glassed bow. It doesn't matter. In the opposite, I think all three of these bows should be glassed bows, so you can compare it.
Of course.
Yeah. So do you think that the Manchu bow with the big sear and that system, the string hitting the bridge, is faster than the Korean bow with the lightweight tips?
The thing is not the speed. As I said, you need to
the speed is the thing.
No, it's not only. It's the kinetic energy. It's the energy the arrow can
the kinetic energy only comes from the mass, from the weight of the arrow.
But with a Korean bow is only fast when you shoot lightweight arrows. Like a Turkish bow, these ones are made for very lightweight arrows. You have 5-6 grain per pound, and then these bows perform well a Manchu bow, you shoot with 15 grain per pound because the bow, the purpose was to penetrate properly. So you shoot the 50 grain per pound. Of course, the arrow is way heavier, but this bow is made for it. This bow,
why I should use light arrows in warfare? Why? Tell me one reason.
Fast, speed.
It isn't about speed. War archery isn't about speed.
Just you said it's about speed.
We compared the speed. You said that Manchu bow gives a lot more speed.
Also power, force, not speed. Manchu bows are slow, but they can shoot a very heavy arrow quite far away. And as I said, the string is longer in contact with the arrow. It's a different if you draw 28 inches or 36 inches. The arrow is longer in contact with the string and can take more energy.
Nobody around the world will use a light arrow for warfare. Nobody, no thinking human.
Yeah, why do the Koreans shoot then these arrows?
I'm sure in warfare they don't shoot these lightweight arrows.
Compared, they shot most probably 70, 80, 90 pound bows, and then compared a 6 grain arrow is relatively heavy.
I don't believe that they had 6 grain.
Let me throw this in.
Yeah.
I do know, looking at some of the old magazines or old books on archery with shooting horse bows and bows with Sias, they use, if I'm not mistaken, they used arrows made out of bamboo. Right, Armin?
Yes, mostly.
Which they'd be light. They'd be light arrows.
No, bamboo.
A moment. If you put on a very heavy point, it's a heavy arrow.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because they had the interchangeable broadheads where they had the tank
inside.
Yeah.
So if you use a 250 grain broadhead with a 300 grain arrow, so you have quite the bullet here.
Yeah, have they ever found any arrows from that time period? Like original arrows?
I think so, yes.
Turkish, I'm quite sure.
Yeah.
But Turkish, I'm sure, because I've seen them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even Manchu arrows they found there in museums and stuff, of course.
Yeah, it'd just be interesting to actually know the exact grain of how heavy they were.
Yeah. Heavy.
So,
and they had 1.5 inch diameter shafts.
Yeah.
Okay, not so like heavy arrows.
Of course, heavy arrows.
So.
And these lever, why would they build such sophisticated bows where the Bash and the Kazan, why would they do this if it would not bring anything? Why wouldn't they all shoot longbows if the longbow is the best?
In my opinion, it's just one section of the truth. Because they don't have in that prairies and steppe and so on, they don't have enough good wood for making longer bows. Also the plains Indians made these horned bows and so on, and the woodland Indians like the Cherokee, they had simple self bows. It was all in the same continent, on the same Yep. If you have a big supply of different woods and all sorts of woods, and you can experiment, that's the nicest tree for the bows and so on. And if you're on a prairie, you just have buffalo horn and some dried up wood and so on. I don't know.
Well,
there are more aspects.
Well, it's just like, I guess you would say, it's like the Inuits up in Alaska. They built bows out of
whalebone and
and out of driftwood, as far as I understand. But I think they called them cableback bows, where they tied them together.
Yeah. And in their way, they are also very sophisticated bows, because they're making bows out of nothing. Out of trash, so to say.
So you simply make them with what you materially have. Obviously, makes sense. And when you see them, these bows, because a horn always has a certain length, and they use always from here to there a piece of horn, so it can't be endless long. So they can't make a 2 meter long horn bow because the horns are not that long.
And I honestly, I would say the best video I've seen about anybody on YouTube making a horn bow would have to be Lucas's video that he did a long time ago. Have you seen that?
I think so, yeah, long ago.
Yeah. I was always intrigued because I think even on the video they said nobody knew how it was done until I guess they said Lucas figured out how to put the bow together.
Yeah, a few figured it out already.
They still make them in Korea and somewhere. Same old like in Japan, the yumis, they make them since thousands of years the same style.
It's not that somebody had to rediscover it.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, there's a gentleman here in the U.S. Jap Kopendreyer. He builds Yumi style bows, and he grows as far as I know, he grows all of his own bamboo, and
he builds amazing bows.
Yeah, I have. Have you guys ever seen his video?
I saw his video. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's.
He builds nice, slightly recurved Asiatic.
I think he was in Korea when I was there. If I'm not wrong.
He's quite famous,
Yeah.
And this English lady was there, Hillary Greenwood.
I don't know.
Or Greenberg. No, Greenwood. I think so.
Yeah. Because isn't there quite a few? When you were over, was it in China that you went, Peter, for the archery show?
Yeah.
Is it in China that there's a lot of like little archery businesses, like archery shops?
I hadn't time to find a lot out about it, but I think it's growing. Also, our guest from China told us there are a lot of in the big cities are a lot of indoor archery ranges and so.
Because
it's growing.
Isn't it with when they shoot though? Don't they have to do so much stuff before they even fire an arrow? Like, don't they train for 2 or 3 years before they're even allowed to shoot an arrow?
This is Kyoto. This is Japanese archery. Yes.
Japan, yeah. So they make you hot and horny, and then they give you a bow.
No, there you need to learn first how to draw properly and how to breathe while you draw. For them, it's an art. It's not about shooting, and then they learn to shoot the makiwara 1 meter away first until they hit it properly, and then they shoot one day at the 28-meter distance.
I never. Now is because they don't stand up either when they shoot, right, Armin?
They have standing and kneeling positions.
Yeah.
No, see, I never understood at first. I never understood why the grip on those Yumi bows were so low. I never understood that.
They don't know it themselves. I asked them when I met these 4 or 5 samurai guys in Korea, and they were all shooting Yumis and so on. And I talked about with them. They don't know. The guy we had from Japan, Munehiro, said it's because of the long draw. They made 2 meter 20 centimeters long bows. Why is this bow so long? You can't, in a small car, you can't carry a Yumi bow at the real long ones. It's 2 meter and 20 centimeters. It's about what, 7 feet?
Yeah, 7 foot.
Yeah,
more than 7 feet.
More than 7 feet.
Yeah.
So
there are different theories. First of all, they needed to get this thing bent, and they wanted to have a long draw because even they figured maybe out that the longer the arrow is in contact with the string, it gives it more energy, maybe. But then they figured, okay, if we would have the bow now grab it in the middle, you can't even pull it anymore. So this is one theory. The next theory is that because they shot it even on horseback, and when you have on horseback, the lower limb is 1 meter, you can't operate a bow like this. So they made the handle lower that they can shoot from horseback. I just say a few theories. And for me, most logic theory is when you have an English longbow and it vibrates, the vibration comes back and ends up in the middle.
Oh yeah.
It culminates there. So you have your hand choke or your vibration there. When you grab an English longbow a little further down, you don't feel this culmination of vibration because you have the hand choke here and not here. So they say, and then it's of course in Japan, everything has a purpose. So it's this 2:1 ratio where they separated. And there's a lot of things going.
I mean, now you're getting closer to the truth. I think it's a kind of stylish thing, because all these explanations are, in my opinion, big bullshit. Why is it bullshit? Because as you see behind you, Armin, you can make a very short bow. You can draw and draw and draw, and you can shoot it from horseback and kneeling. And
but they had different material. They didn't use horn. They only had bamboo. And with bamboo only, you can't build a small bow like this.
You can.
No, these are horn bows, composite bows, these short ones.
Yes, but if you just use bamboo, you can do it too. If you're a good bow, you can make it.
Not that short.
Okay, not that short, but it don't need to be 2.20 meters.
Maybe they had a compensation problem. I don't know.
Or they were
Please don't say that it's bullshit. We only have one who is responsible for the bullshit department, and his name we will not mention today in the video. Okay.
Okay.
To make Cody happy, right? Oh, if he is not comfortable.
So, yeah, the horn bows have always interested me too, and
me not. I have 2 horn bows here now to review, and a horn is a natural material. This bow is first of all crooked like this, and is crooked like this when you look at the sears. And you need a heat source. I need a heat source now, which I don't have at the range, to make the horn more flexible, to get this bow straight and get the sears aligned. And it's such a hassle that I simply don't like composite bows.
And you know, I mean, I'm sure a superior bow wouldn't have these features.
You still work with horn, and you know,
because I have that old books from J. Massey. Cody, you know him. And one is called, I think, Primitive Archery and so on. And he remade the bows the Indians used with sinew backing and so. And they also warp, like, you know, they completely out of shape. But he knows how to make them to stay in shape, because he let them warp for quite a long time, and then he made the bow so it was ready with his, you know, with this.
I understand, but you know, on the other side, when you see traditional Korean competitions, when they shoot their horn Korean bows, the composite bows, there's one bow building master. He sits there and he strings their bows. They have this bracelet and he strings it. He needs to heat them up. He needs to straighten them. Then they shoot a few arrows. Then they bring them back, that he needs to check again if they're still straight. They're built for performance. Of course, you could make now a thick piece of horn and a thick piece of wood. And
no, I don't.
It will not bend. But when you make it of performance, then even these expensive, they cost $10,000s, these Korean bows, they still warp, and you still need to adjust them. When you string them, they're out of tiller. And you have this problem because it's the material where you have the problem, and you need to fix that.
I don't know.
No, I know.
Okay.
And of course, if you have now a bad hornbow builder, you have more problems to deal with. And when you have a really good one, there are good ones out there. But they still, I saw from one of the ones who claimed he is a very good one. Because I always say in my videos, you know, I like to string a bow and shoot a bow. I don't want to fix the bow first half an hour until I can shoot the bow. And then he said, that's bullshit. And then he made a video. Sorry, I said not the same word. And he made then later on a video where he showed one of his own bows. And he's really a good hornbow builder. And this video was 20 minutes long. And he showed in 20 minutes how he fixed his bow until he's ready to shoot. So what?
But someone has to explain to me, if you're making a bow like that, the proper way, and you let it set so it won't warp, it is ready with warping and turning. Okay, so that you let that bow dry and it turns in that direction, and you let it 2 months longer, so it won't warp anymore. And then you're making the bow out of this piece of glued up something. Why should this bow warp after that?
Because you bring different materials together. You put sinew on the back, you put horn on the belly, wood in the middle. But you
let them rest together for, let's say, 6 months. Why should they warp again later?
Well, here, Peter, let me throw this in. How about with recurves? I mean, they're made, recurves are made out of fiberglass and, maple. And
because they get damaged when you string them, because you turn them while shooting or stringing, but not on their own. If you have a brand new recurve bow and you, let's say, string it the proper way and you put it on the wall, it will never warp. It stays like it is. Or no? Am I wrong?
Because it's glass on it, it's fiberglass on it. When you have horn on it, a horn is always, natural materials.
If the bow is under the same conditions, of course, if you take it out in minus 20 degree and take it in plus 40 degree and so on, the moisture is some day
it's
high
changing.
And so on, then it could be.
And then you shoot the bow, then you flex the horn and then it goes back. And I guess some horn has some kind of like a memory effect and it still goes back in its original, even if you leave it like, a horn is a horn. If you leave it like this, it doesn't move. And then you cut it out and then it moves. And I don't know, I'm not a horn bow builder, but I only tell you about the struggles I have. I can't fix these bows straight because I don't have a heat source now. And I hate that I need to have now a stove where I need to heat up this bow that I can make it straight. That's why I don't like these composite bows. And when you see they cost $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, it's not worth it for me. When I see one like this, this is like...
This one is beautiful.
He has pressed horn. He has processed horn on the belly. He has horn plates. He prepares them before like a piece of fiberglass. But it's new. And
this bow won't warp. No?
This is what you say. You put these ones together and this one is straight. I simply string this bow. It can happen that it's a little out of this till, but then you bend it here and then it's done and then you can shoot this bow, and this bow works like and they are just amazing.
I know
400 or 500 euros,
I think I would say, maybe I don't know everyone, but I think these Groscher bows are the best Hungarian bows, in my opinion. I have seen something on the tournament, I looked them up and said, oh, this is, of course, a nice bow.
Price, value, performance, ease of maintenance, this is the way to go.
Well, see, Peter, they've, bows warping, it's always been a problem. And the reason I say that is, even here in America, if you read some, like Glenn St. Charles, for example, if you read in some of his older stories that he wrote, he said, and I'll try to quote it the best I can. He claimed that during, I think it was in the 30s or early 40s, when they were shooting wood bows, all natural bows made out of wood, they would, after they got done shooting each target, they would unstring the bow, walk up and pull the arrows, and then go to the next target, because the bows would warp, or they would warp.
And they get weaker and weaker.
It's weak follow and stuff.
So
but how is it? Do you have any idea? In America they have these pure horn bows. There is no wood, no. This is simply a stripe of horn, and they shoot with this. You ever saw one or something, or you can get your hands on, Cody?
What in the hell is going? Sorry, something popped up on my computer.
Oh, something.
Yeah.
But you heard the question?
Yeah. The only horn bow I've ever seen, and I thought I posted the video on YouTube. A fellow had I believe it was a Turkish horn bow. Is that?
No, this is not what I'm talking about. In America, they built
a native Indian horn bows
out of horn.
Oh,
there is no wood and no sinew. This is only a piece of horn, and they shoot it. You ever saw?
No.
I saw one. There's this backyard bowyer. He builds these PVC pipe bows, and he was once on a fair somewhere in America, and then he found a bow builder, and he made these horn bows. Pure, only piece of horn. I don't know.
I remember, and there was also a picture of some of these bows, Cody. I don't remember the guy's name. He was a huge collector of Indian bows in the United States. Yeah. And he's on one picture drawing a bow like these Asian bows, like very short, like that bow. I don't know. And totally bent, and he drew that bow. And they also said they always had to put them in shape back again and so. But I got another question. This, you said this Grosser bow has horn plates on.
Yep.
So this bow won't warp, you said.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they be able to make these horn plates back 4,000 years ago? It's not the problem.
This is processed horn. So it's not simply a piece of horn which he let sit there. It's some kind of processed and pressed, and I don't know what he does exactly. He doesn't even tell you.
Why shouldn't they do it back then, 1,000 years ago?
They didn't have the materials or the processing power to do this.
I don't think so, but
yes,
okay.
Of course, otherwise they would have done it.
Yeah, I think
maybe they have done it, but there are only books which are, the forgotten, lost books. There, a super clever guy. That's how they built that bows back then. Maybe it's not true. We don't know.
The thing is, even with the sinew, usually when you have then your wood and then you soak it with your glue and then you put you chew your sinew and then you put it on there stripe by stripe and then the next layer and then the next layer and then you never know what it does because it's still.
I know it bends totally.
And he does simply a horn plate before, which is then already straight and like a piece of fiberglass, and he glues it on. So that's why he has it straight. So you have the performance.
And there's wood in the core
of a composite bow, but not all the hassle.
In the core, there's wood.
In the core is wood, yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's processed horn, wood.
Ash also. Ash.
I don't know. I think so. Yeah. I don't know. Bamboo, ash. I think ash.
Yeah.
And they're really pretty.
And I'm sure 5,000 years ago, a high culture could be able to make a bow like that.
Of course, they could have been even able to make a compound bow. You never know.
Sure, yeah, or a car.
Yeah, exactly. Or spaceship.
Yeah,
but they didn't, or at least we are not aware of. So I only can talk about things I'm aware of.
Yeah. Well,
I like to show Cody something. It's not very important for him because he lives in the United States, but on weekend I was at the Netherlands at this guy Magen Klomp, a Netherlandish boa.
It's a fair bow guy.
And
yeah, and he's an exceptional guy because he not only makes kind of Asian style bows, he also makes English long bows and war bows and bamboo bows and laminated glassed reflex deflex long bows and recurves. Everything. He also has a hill style model, the Patriot, or no, not yes, the Patriot, I think. The bow is called. I think so. And he's a very nice guy. They had a big archery event, a day shot on Saturday and then night shot on Saturday night, and then on the next day on Sunday they had a next round, but it rained cats and dogs, so there were just, I think, about 60 or 80 people left on Sunday because everyone was wet and so overnight. And I think it was about 160 or so on Saturday. So not too big, but in a nice area. And he had his shop there with a big rack with long bows. And I made a picture, I will post it later on. And he offers a kind of nice hill style gloves. With, it's a double leather, it's reinforced, and very clever system here. It's with kind of screws, so you can adjust the length of these straps. You can unscrew it and put it in the next holes. And yes, made like the Howard Hill glove, this press button, nice fair bow. I think it's about 20 euros or so. So if a guy don't likes to order in the United States because of the high custom tax and high transport costs, and so these are available all over Europe. And I'm sure Cody, if you ask him, he will send you one for free because he likes if you make a test or so.
He also makes back quivers too, doesn't he, Peter?
Yeah.
Everything.
Really nice hill style quivers from cowhide, with the fur on and different stuff. Very nice. And I saw a lot on this tournament. There were, I'd say, at least 30 persons I have seen using his hill style bow. So he made it quite famous over there. And I'm kind of proud because once back then I sent him John Schultz bow so he can measure it and look how are they made and so. So I think 10 years ago I helped him a little to develop them. And he's doing a good thing on fancy glass, red glass on the hill style bows and green glass and white and everything. Very nice.
And I hear they shoot as good as they look.
Yeah. So, yeah, these are very, very well made. What I found interesting, and I talked about with him, for example, when he makes, let's say, 50-pound free lamination, let's say kind of Tembo model hill style bow, okay, with 3 bamboo laminations, 2 glass riser, okay. Then his 50-pound bow is, I think, about 5 millimeters thicker in the limb than the comparable Howard Hill archery bow is. So I don't know, it has to be thinner glass or weaker bamboo somehow. Don't ask me why. Because he needs more bamboo to have this 50 pounds, or he should use thicker glass. I don't know. But his bows look very thick. And then I have had one with me with, I don't know, 72 pounds, and it was 4 millimeter thinner than his 50-pound. So very interesting. I said he should try to bake the bamboo more so it gets more brittle and maybe kind of stronger. I don't know. Or is it a different brand of kind of bamboo? I don't know.
Well, I know, Peter, you're just a little guy. Can you handle 72-pound bow?
I was able to, but now I'm not in training. My usual draw weight for all purposes back then when I did a lot of 3D shooting and bow hunting, it was 65 pounds at 26 inches draw. So, but that bow I could shoot all day long. It was not an effort to me, and so I was able to shoot 70 to 75 pounds. I could shoot them and draw them, but if you stop using heavy bows, you get out of it because you have to reshape your muscles if you'd like to.
I currently
heavy bows.
I don't shoot anything over 60 pounds. There's just no reason for it.
Especially when you're just doing 3D and target shooting, you don't need it because the distance isn't that far. The arrows are not that heavy. Because if you like to go for elk or moose hunting, you're making your very heavy arrows, 1,000 grain or so. And then, of course, it's 70 pound or 80 better. And, you know, Byron Ferguson says every pound over 70 pounds, for him, he found out it for himself, it isn't worth the effort. You can't get the balance of performance and what you need to draw the bow, what energy and so on. He says 70, 72, maybe 75, but then it's over. Unless you like to shoot a Reno and you of course, if you have 90 pounds and you have a very heavy arrow with a big broadhead because you like to shoot a fat animal, of course it performs better. But as long as you use usual arrows, let's say up to 600 grain, 70 pounds, he says, is the border. He don't need more. You can't get out more.
Speaking of Byron, I think I told you guys I seen him a couple weeks ago when he was here in Michigan. Nice. He wanted me to tell you guys hi. So
thank you very much. Salute back.
Hi back. Hi back.
So,
and you know, this Magen, I have to make a little advertising for him. He's, you know, the glove with his logo on, and they had a new string material, Bloodline, and that's his own brand, Rebel, for, you know, the Rebel root this bloodline. And so he's a kind of a good manager, a good salesman.
He's exceptional. As I said, we were speaking before. He sent me once a bow for a review. And then you get the bow box, and when you open it, then there's the bow. And then he put the sleeve in a small, how do you call these bags? These where you can look through it, you know, these
plastic bags.
A plastic bag where you can see, and he attached it on the bottom of the box, and then a lot of descriptions and manuals and flyers and whatever, and everything was nicely. It's like when you buy an Apple computer and you open the box and it's like, wow. All the others, I simply put the bow in a box, nothing else, and you know, good luck with
Wrap
it.
some paper
really,
around
with a personal note, hello and thank you. And if you have any, you really feel like somebody is caring about me when I buy a bow from him. So that gives me, I like this. I like this habit.
He said, you know, most of the customer think I'm test shooting every bow I build. And I said, of course, because you told them that you do. He looked at me and said, yeah, true. But it isn't true. And look, he has had nice Friday 2020 on 13th, Hunter patches different. What is this? Friday, Zombie Killer, and so on.
Friday.
Yeah,
Fair Day. So the event name was Fair.
Instead of Friday 13th, it's Fair Day 13th, and it's Zombie Killer, and so
nice.
Very innovative guy.
Yeah.
So, Peter, what are you going to dress up for as Halloween this year?
I don't know. Maybe as Joe Biden. I want your money. Trick or treat. Give me money.
Is Halloween a pretty big holiday there in Germany and Malta, or not really?
They made it.
In Malta, they made it now because it's another reason that they can dress up,
sell a lot of stuff,
and party. And for the kids, it's simply,
it's an industry.
It's a making money machine, and every day is welcome. Like this, where they all dress in green. This British or Ireland British, but you know this one. Then they all dress up in green and drink beer, and it's simply another day where they can dress up.
When we were young, I mean, it wasn't like that. No. Never knew about Halloween. Nobody.
We had only our Fasching in the beginning of the year, a carnival, and it was all.
So that's why a lot of people are saying in Austria and also in Germany, all the shit comes just over from the United States. Yeah. They say like this.
Yeah. Because over here, usually because we'll have Halloween, it's Halloween and then our Thanksgiving and then Christmas. Usually, it used to be when I was little, before they never started selling any like Thanksgiving or any Christmas stuff before Halloween. Yeah. And the last couple of years, it's just been, they've started selling Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving all together in the middle of September.
Yeah. Summer holidays are over and they start selling Christmas stuff. Yeah. So, everywhere. It's simply money.
Yeah.
Of course. It's money.
That's true. So, what do you dress up in Halloween? What's your dress? No. Nothing.
I haven't done that since
Yeah, me neither. So I have no connection to Halloween. That's why I don't care.
I had friends from my former girlfriend, his family, and so on. They always made the kind of Halloween party. So sometimes I had to dress up because we went to that party. But
you had your Robin Hood costume, right?
No, I was kind of a vampire or something.
Okay.
Because then I could bite all the girls in the
neck. Yeah, look at That's why they invited you only once, right? Next year.
Peter, every year. They liked it. Peter bite me again.
Now, what about Oktoberfest? Did they cancel?
Did they cancel? I don't know. I don't think that they canceled Oktoberfest this year.
And that's the same story. in Austria, nobody talked about Oktoberfest for many, many years. But now they're making an Oktoberfest in Vienna and in Graz and everywhere.
Even in Germany and Bavaria. We have
newest name, Cody won't know it, but in there are 9 states in Austria, and each state had a capital city. And Styria is one state, and the capital's name is Graz. The capital city's name. And last week or 2 weeks ago were elections, and the Communist Party won the mayor. The Communist Party in Graz won. You can't think about it. It's not possible for usually. And now they call that Graz Leningrad or Stalingrad.
Yeah. That's what you get, yeah. But on the other side, I think it's really pretty good. Then you see that some voters really don't want to elect these, these candidates, whatever. They simply don't have a big alternative. So, okay, then let's take directly the extreme.
Yeah. And I'm quite sure even far right-wingers elected that left party because it was a kind of protest against all the other parties. So
interesting.
I'm not too unhappy about it because it's quite a signal.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Oktoberfest, but you need to go once to Oktoberfest. I was once in my lifetime. I don't like a lot of people. That's why I don't like these mass events. And then I don't know what I should do there. But if you like to eat a Schweinshaxe and drink a beer and have fun in one of these beer tents, and it's
Cody, you would love to see the women and girls over there at the Oktoberfest. They wear this beautiful dirndl dress with big open insides.
And Peter, this was already the invention of the push-up bra.
Yeah,
because there with this dirndl, it's tight. They tie it down, and then everything is pushed up there, and you think, "Holy crap! This is like Grand Canyon." If she would get undressed, then there's nothing. But it looks like, and was already
all the wrinkles in their faces are then gone in the evening, because if they open this one, is
of course, and
everything is
of course.
No, you're a nasty guy.
Yeah, yes, I learned from the best, Peter. Thank you.
But it's true. And I think, how is that famous female couture designer, Vivienne Westwood. And I think, if I'm not wrong, she said, if every woman would wear a dirndl, there won't be any ugly women. Because it's kind of a corsage, like a corset. As you say, you push up
everything,
the boobs, and you have a nice.
It's not nasty. It's nice. It's pretty.
Yeah. And you have a nice. How is it called?
Shape.
Hip. You have a nice hip shape, because it's the pattern is like that, and then the hip comes out, and so even a little heavier women don't look too bad in a dirndl. It's true.
And now you know why I like these composite bows. They look like a longbow. Hey, what the heck?
And Cody, listen, and he says he's not a fetishist.
Me? No, I'm not a fetishist. No,
you are.
I like my coffee, but I'm not a fetishist.
Yeah. So that Oktoberfest, it's a kind of cultural thing.
Yeah. That's one thing. There's just a couple things I've always wanted to do. I wanted to go to Oktoberfest and go to the archery or the ATA show in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So, but I do believe I'm going to go to the ATA show this coming year. Or
next year. That was canceled this year, right, or something?
Yeah. So, but
and
that ought to.
You know what, Cody? I was 2 times at the ATA show in Indianapolis, but I never was at the Oktoberfest in München.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, I was more like forced to go there, and then I ate Steckerl fish. It's like a fish you put on a stick, and then you put it over the over the fire, and it was so oily. And then I drank a little beer, and then my stomach was completely off. And then we did some of these weird thingies, and then I was like, well, everything came out. So my Oktoberfest experience was not nice.
Was that, I mean, was it back then when you used to work as a lederhosen call boy there?
Oh, yeah. You would like to see that one now, huh? My lederhosen. Shall I show you my lederhosen?
Knickerbocker boy.
Call me. Yeah. But I think Cody would look good in knickerbockers.
Yeah.
God.
And then one of these hats with the gums thingy on it, you know.
And Cody, you know what? You have a special in every lederhosen or knickerbockers made out of leather. You have a special. They are made from deer hide sometimes, or raw hide, and so, or how is it called? Chamois, the gums.
Mm. Chamois,
yeah,
I don't know.
chamois hide, and they have a special pocket. Everyone is carrying a little knife here in the trousers. You know, it's a kind of sheath in the trousers. So you put in the knife with the half sheath. You know, nice,
cool.
Yeah,
interesting.
You would like it.
And then I show you how to Schuhplattel. You know, we have this special dance where they slap the hands
and
on
they
the
even slap in the face, no?
Slap each other. Yeah, just
they slap them in the face too, no?
Yeah,
I've seen it.
After 3 beer, 4 beer, it's fine, you know.
No, there's really like dancing. They are like the Schuhplattel and they.
Yeah, and then they smack each other. Yeah,
crazy.
It's a Bavarian thing.
Yeah. Now, do you guys drink your beer cold or do you drink it warm?
Cold.
Cold.
I don't drink beer, but if I have to, I drink it ice cold. It must be directly out of the fridge. If it's 5 minutes out, I don't like it anymore. Yeah. It needs to be really, really, really cold.
I like everything cold. I know they would stone me, but I also say red wine is better when it's cold.
Now, the thing is with red wine, they say, you know, this room temperature comes from times where the rooms had 15, 16 degrees. And that's fine. If a red wine has this temperature, it's fine. Our rooms have 25 degrees. It's way too warm.
Yeah. And that's know, this old gay guys say, oh, the wine is a little too cold. You know, that's...
I have a bottle of red wine in the fridge. You put it out a little earlier that it's not that cold. No, but it's still a little chill.
Yeah.
Then it's just fine.
And of course, it's true. If you decant it and let it breathe, of course, it's a different wine. That's true. Also, you should open it one day earlier. So that's true.
It depends on the wine.
Yeah, and if you like to make, I always say I dislike every alcohol. I just drink it because I like to be drunk. Okay. Not because it's so nice and so wonderful. I just love sometimes to be drunk, and that's.
And you, Cody, you cold or warm?
Cold for me.
Cold for you.
Yeah.
You drink anything else? You drink hard stuff too? Whiskey and bourbon and
Bourbon. Yeah, bourbon.
You're a bourbon guy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I usually cold beer or bourbon. So.
What brand of beer?
I really like the imported stuff. Mostly Guinness for me though.
Oh, really?
Heavy. I don't.
But that's a kind of exceptional beer, even for European.
Yes, I don't like
circumstances.
This is so heavy, so malty.
Yeah, and to me, the darker the better.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Because but I really don't drink a lot. So, but when I do, I would rather drink a quality beer than
makes sense.
So, but yeah, over here they have a saying it's you don't pass up a beer when it's free, cheap, or warm, or however the hell they say it. Yeah, free, cheap, or warm, or it's something like that. So, but yeah. And then
what is more in the United States? What there's not usually done here is they drink a lot of this light beer, of this Bud Light, and so.
Yeah.
I think nobody here around does it. No.
Yeah. There's that usually light beer. They call it piss water or what? Yeah, it's just so. But yeah, there's like Bud Light, Busch Light,
Coors Light,
Coolers Light.
I never tried one. I never tried the light beer because I think if I drink a beer, I don't drink it very often. Then I want a proper beer. these light products. I mean, it's only for, I need my beer, but I can't drink real beer. So
and our beers in Austria, especially, I think a little more. They have a little more alcohol. They're stronger, so to say, than the Bavarian or German beers. For usually.
Tegernsee, is this Bavarian or is this Austria?
Tegernsee is Bavarian, but that's a nice beer. I had it.
It's a nice sparkling, heavier one. That's nice, but it needs to be ice cold, otherwise, no way.
I helped the guy laying kind of tiles at the Fliesen. Yep. And the boss there, who gave us this job. He lives in Tyrol and he always had Tegernsee in his garden house. And you know, the small bottles, not the half liter, but the 0.3.
They're the best.
And I put them into the fridge. Oh, wow. That was really good. I don't drink a lot of beer, but then...
But you finish it before it gets, because it's warm. You get a big bottle and then you drink half of it and then it's warm.
When I used to drink more beer, I always drink 0.3, not half liters, because it's too much. And the small ones you really get, and you drink more of beer with the small ones.
The other thing that used to be quite big over here was they put coffee in everything, like coffee with beer, and then they even have like a Coca-Cola now that has coffee in it.
Okay.
And it's
disgusting.
But you know what?
Do this in Bavaria, we have a Reinheitsgebot for beer. You know, there's only water and Hopfen.
Hopfen and malt. So there was
there are only 3 ingredients, and you don't put anything else in it. So
you know, because you said this coffee thing, Cody. Time ago, I like to cook chili con carne. And I looked up some recipes from the internet and the original Wikipedia. They fight about who invented it, the Mexicans or the Texans, and it's made with meat and there is minced meat and everything is possible, so to say. And in one of these Mexican recipes was they do a little coffee into the finished chili con carne. So I did it too. And that was not bad.
Yeah, when you
idea.
Chili, you have beans and you put coffee beans in, you know, the water of coffee beans. Bean to bean.
And you know what Nate Steen and Laura Walters, when we hunted in Idaho, they said, at night, I'm cooking a barbecue, Lowell said. I thought, barbecue, it's like grilling on the roast or so. No, they had a Dutch oven, and they put in, you know, fat, grease, or how you call it, schmaltz,
grease,
or oil, and everything was cut very big. The onions like that, pieces, and everything with carrots and something, and it all was roasted in the oil. And then they put in big chunks of meat, like half a fist size. And then they took, I think, 6 2-liter bottles of Coca-Cola and poured it in, and salt and pepper and, you know, something, laurel and so on. And when we were back hunting, they opened it. It smelled wonderful. The meat was, you know, really soft and tender. You could make it like that, like that pulled pork, like that. And then they boiled potatoes and for additional, for a side dish. And then we put in sour cream too. I don't know how much. Stirred it. It was a thicker sauce then, you know, nice consistency. And that Coca-Cola thing was wonderful because it was a little sweet, a little spicy. Wonderful. I never seen this before. What? Coca-Cola? And that is maybe like the coffee they put into that chili, and so they use Coca-Cola.
It's just like here they have a thing where you take a whole chicken, and you basically take a beer can. You slide the chicken over a full bottle of or a full can of beer, and you put it in on the grill, and the flavor from the beer smokes into the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, when we made, I don't know how it's called in English, a small piece, you know, on a stick, a Spanferkel.
Mm-hmm.
In German, it's called Spanferkel.
Yeah, it's a very young piglet.
A small
and you
pig.
put a skewer through it, and then you put it on the.
Yeah, and you grill it, you rotate it like that. We used to make them up to 30 kilogram pigs. For usually this is a very small one, about 8 kilo or so.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you cut the hide around, and then you grill it, and then you take a bottle of beer, you shake the bottle of beer, and you spray it with the beer, and put the beer over. And even if you're making it in the oven, you know, not on the
beer,
yeah. Also with chickens, it's nice. I often use beer just for spraying, making good.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer to cook with wine. I'm more the Italian guy.
Oh.
Yeah, nice.
What's your favorite dish, Cody?
I would have to say back straps from a deer. Back straps. Yep.
And to make it, so to say, a la minute in the pan or in the oven?
Over the fire if I can.
Okay. In the wilderness, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Either back straps or liver and onions.
Yeah.
So,
you know, in Austria, it's hunting tradition. If you shot a wild boar, a deer, or a roe, or something, you immediately, you know, you field dress it, and you take the liver out, and as you say, with onions, a roasted liver, and you know, it has to be a little bloody. It's not very rare. You make it very fast, and yes, if you're a nice guy and have a nice hunting hut, you have some kind of brandy or cognac to, you know, to make it. That's nice. And all the hunters, they helped him to pull up the wild boar or something. They sit together, have good schnapps, beer, wine, and the liver they roasted. Wow.
Now, have you guys ever had that? Is it stromboli or whatever, that fish that comes in like a yellow can? It's like rotten fish.
No, never.
Oh no.
Serini or whatever. But when you open the can,
I saw once a video of a guy who did this. What I eat all around the world, and then he opened one of these cans and he almost vomited over the can.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's a Russian thing, isn't it? Isn't it from Russia?
Finnish or Russian? I think it's from Finland, but it's close to Russia up there.
Yeah.
Something crazy. Yeah. Rotten fish in a can. Nah, thank you.
Yeah, there are funny things around now. Isn't there a kind of coffee they feed to a cat or a monkey, and they shit their coffee and then they roast it?
Yeah.
Have you had that?
No.
I think it's too expensive for me. I would not pay the price. But they have.
Look, these are the same.
And then it goes through the cat, and then once it poops it, then they get it in processed.
These are the same homosexuals. They say, oh, it was shit by a monkey. Can't you taste it? Yeah.
Now, the only one thing what interests me, I'm into tea, you know, in Chinese tea. And then once I heard the story of one of these monks in Wudang, they said, you know, that there is one special tea. And there is, when in the morning, when they go up and get the tea, they're only made virgins. And they don't pick the tea with the fingers, they pick it with their lips. You know, the first small leaves with the lips, and then they put it in the basket and they go. I said, I need to go there. The only problem is there will be no virgin afterwards, but I want to see that. It's interesting.
I mean, would have even paid $100 more if the monk would have said they pick it with their pussy.
That's hardly to do, I guess. No, but imagine that they don't take the fingers.
It's a good story. It's a good story. And you can charge the buyer some bucks more, of course.
A lot of bucks more.
Hey, yeah. Buy the tea and get a free bow. There you go.
No. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, what are you doing with this Oneida bow?
You know what Byron once said to me?
No.
a very nice story because of the pricing and of the ape shit coffee and so. I asked him very seriously. I said, "Oh, Byron, you know, everybody's talking about carbon in the bow, and since you're a bow maker, what's your opinion on using carbon fibers or mats or so in the bow building?" Oh, well, he said, what makes it to a bow? I can charge the customer $100 more.
Yeah, that's about right. Well, it's just like with those guys shooting the foam carbon limbs now. Have you heard about that, Peter?
Yeah, I think they had it in Olympic archery first. This gassed stuff, or I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, well, I can charge $100 more or $200 more for.
It's foam carbon.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I loved it because Byron thought of kind of some seconds. What does it do? Oh, I can charge him $100 more.
Yeah.
Well.
But yeah, for the
2.5 hours, guys. It's nice to talk, but
yeah,
somebody had to find an end. Otherwise, we talk tomorrow. Knife of the week, quickly.
Oh yeah, knife of the week. Do you have one prepared, Cody?
Yeah, I have one right here.
No,
so start. Go ahead.
So I'm not really sure the whole history on this one. It's one that I got at a flea market. But it's just a little pocket knife.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
But
gentleman's knife.
Yeah.
Interesting decoration on it.
Well,
is it painted or something?
No, it's, as far as I know, from what I looked up, this was a knife that they gave out at like the Ford dealership back in the 30s when you bought a car.
Wow.
Okay.
But it has a bunch of like scroll work on it, and the Ford and I think logo.
Oh yeah.
Wow. It's I don't think it's painted. It almost looks like it's been the gold,
and kind of inlay.
Yeah, that yeah. But yeah, it came in a little sheath and
interesting knife.
Yeah.
And I knew Cody has a story about the knife.
Of course.
Because he does a lot of research, and I'm sure he watched all the Ford ads through in which year they got the knives with the car. No?
No, I'm not sure what year it was given out. So it was either given out when you bought a car, or it was given as a Christmas gift to the Ford employees.
Okay.
So, but it was just something I found, and I thought the scroll work and the engraving on it's kind of cool. So,
yeah, and it has some history.
Pretty cool. Yeah, nice, cool. I have an older one of mine, a simple one, and it's from Böker, and it's the Magnum, because I had a time where I liked these Tanto blades, which are for me completely useless right now. And it's a full blade, so it's one piece of metal and has then this knob at the end. So you really, and I misused it already a lot. So you could really hammer it somewhere in. So it's really indestructible, this thing, but it's nothing out of the world. And I don't like it anymore. I threw it in a while, and then the leather came off here, and I should need to fix it, but it's blunt and it's not in use anymore since a while. But it was quite nice when I got it. So it was a Böker Magnum.
Now, do you guys do you guys need any like paperwork carrying a knife, or are you guys allowed to carry pocket knives at all with you, or no?
This one, when the blade is not wider than your hand, you can have it, but it's still always. Usually nobody's saying something, but when you go in the wrong area in a discotheque and there's a bar fight, and then you are with this knife, and then you have problems for nothing.
I think in Austria we have no limitations.
No?
I don't
in
think
Malta
so.
it's 8 centimeters no longer, and then not that all these automatic knives, they are not allowed.
When I was little, when I was a boy or a youth, the springers, these were prohibited strictly.
Yeah.
But I think 20, 30 years ago, they legalized that stuff.
Okay.
So, and I don't think there's any limitation on length.
Okay. Here it is.
In some cases, Austria is kind of more free than Germany. Also with the crossbows, in Germany, you need to be, I don't know, if you like to buy a crossbow. Yeah.
Here, if the crossbow has more than 60 pounds, you need a license. Same with a bow. If you have a bow more than 60 pounds, you need to have a gun license.
In Netherlands, where I was at Magenklomp, their broadheads are prohibited, forbidden. So he has a kind of lawsuit going on for some years because he sold that kind of medieval, warheads or broadheads. Yeah. And there's a kind of conflict because they say it's for reenactment purposes and therefore it's allowed, and they'll say no, it's a weapon and so on. Crazy. Yeah.
Goes everywhere. Your knife, Peter?
Yeah, because we talked about Byron. I don't know if I showed it before, but I show it again because it's a nice thing and I get some money from this company too, so I like to show it. It's not a very lovely box, but it's that Byron Ferguson signature hunting knife, and it comes in that box. It was 2016, I think, when we, together with the French Wild Steer company, the company is making these archery knives and a lot of very nice looking military style fighting knives and boot knives and neck knives. So they're kind of innovative guys. And I think even the French army uses, some special units are using that Wild Steer knives and so on. And officially a knife for the paratroopers or so, I don't know. Okay. And yes, so we developed this Byron Ferguson knife, which is very a massive blade, and it's, I don't know, the steel. Okay. Yes, and here it's engraved. I don't know if you can see it.
Proper finger guard. That's nice. This
Wild Steer, and here's Byron's signature here. Signature, yes. And yes, full tang, a nice hand guard, and a really massive knife. You also can take out the arrows or so. There's a lanyard hole here.
Pretty. The sheath is good too.
The sheath is also very interesting and sophisticated because you see it's like that, and then you close this flap over here. With this
nice
button. Yeah. One critic I would have it the opposite, would have made it the opposite, so you can't rub on a tree and open it, just the opposite. But that's the only critic. So very nice knife, still available. I think also Three Rivers sells it.
Yeah.
And back then we made a contract with Wild Steer because I had the idea and I helped them a little with the design. I said, I like the sheet like that and so on. And therefore I get some percentage of each sold.
So everybody needs to buy now, or to put the link in the description.
Of course. Yeah. What I kind of dislike, but many people like it, is this how is it called? This
the scales?
Yes, kind of action wood handle.
Yeah.
I would have prepared, I don't know, some fancy, like that Kunststoff or so.
B10 or mahogany or something, is some nice wood, not this action wood.
Yes, or maybe dark green or orange, or more like a hunting, like a modern, I don't know, or a stag handle would also be.
Stag handle.
Very cool. Yeah.
I like it like this more.
No, I would prefer stag or
The only thing I would like to have is if you could mount the sheath 90 degrees, that the knife is in line with the belt and not dangling down, because I don't like to have but it's me.
Maybe one could sew on here if you really like. Also on the sheath is Byron's signature.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a nice knife.
Yeah, Byron gets some percentage too, so everybody will be happy.
Yeah, and also Wildsteer. Everyone would be
of course,
happy.
everybody's happy. You are happy, Weiss is happy, Byron is happy.
Everyone is
happy. We are happy because you are happy.
Yes, and I'm happy if you are happy.
The happy people channel, so everybody's happy now.
So, here's a little, I don't know.
Story about Byron.
Wildsteer is therefore very proud to present the Byron Ferguson full tang knife, 9 inches long, with a 4 1/3 inch. Oh, here's the steel. X46 CR13 stainless steel plate made in France. The laminated stabilized Cocobolo handle. Laminized Cocobolo handle.
Nice. You're getting tired, Cody?
Yeah, we have to stop.
You need your afternoon nap now. We should really stop. How old are you now, Cody?
32.
32, and you need already afternoon nap. Holy cow. Oh, you got up early today. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Was nice talking, friends.
Yes, it was really nice. I hope we can have you again. But you still didn't tell me what you're doing with this Oneida bow.
Oh, yeah.
He wants it.
No, you want it too.
Ahmed wants it.
Kept getting interrupted by Peter, so.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, sorry.
Either he's eating or interrupting us. Such a good host.
Or playing with his books.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what I was going to do with it yet. I might shoot it for a while. So, I could probably dig you up one if you want to play with one. I'll send you some pictures of the different models that they made and see if you like one out of the different models, and I can dig one up for you. So
let's see. We talk.
Yeah. What about you?
But Cody, you have to have a good background story for the bow.
Of course.
Okay.
A nice story.
Stories are very important. I wanted to buy an Alfa Romeo and went to a dealer really in the middle of nowhere, and I said, "Look, this Alfa Romeo I would like to have. Can I have it?" And then he said, "Now sit down." I said, "What?" "Look first. The first guy who bought this car, blah blah blah." And then he told me the whole story of this car. I said, "Yes, okay, fine." So he has this emotional. He really was his passion to sell cars. Not only here, get it, go away. It was nice. Everything has to have a story. Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you will do your job, no worries. So it was really nice talking to you guys, but we should find an end because 2.5 hours is already longer than every Avenger movie. So,
but also better than any Avenger movie.
No doubt about that.
So good night, guys.
Cody, really good to talk to you, Cody. I hope we can invite you again, that we are not too annoying.
Best wishes to Michigan.
Yes, thanks.
Greetings to Michigan. If you dig something out about Howard Hill or Swine or whatever, you always let us know.
Because next time, Cody, you have to have a kind of nice logo in your back, what you're advertising for.
Okay. All right.
Last time he had.
Yeah. I missed it. I missed that Bitzenberger. I miss it.
Exactly. Okay. Cody,
right.
Thank you very
Good
much. Thank you guys for watching, for staying with us for 2.5 hours. But we talked a lot about archery today, so nobody can complain, because sometimes we do a little conspiracy theories about things going on in the world. But today was 95% archery. Well done, guys.
Maybe next time we'll talk about aliens and archery.
Yeah, please.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yes. So we will get back to this point. Aliens.
Yeah.
And reptiloid bow hunters.
Yeah.
Shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Enjoy your day. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Next time. Ciao.
Bye.